Ms. Thomas, you claim you're involved in a love triangle that has resulted in the defendant denying your 7-month-old son, Jeremiah.
Yes.
You've petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove that he is the father so he can stop living a double life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hadley, you say your current relationship with Ms. Stallworth is in jeopardy because Ms. Thomas is convinced you are the father of her child.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you say you have hard evidence to prove that you are not the biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Thomas, why is he denying your son?
I don't know, Your Honor. I just know that we're in a love triangle between me and Tyler, and this is just going on for way too long. He keeps denying my son, but he's still around him all the time. He's acts like a father towards him when he's with me, and then he goes to Tyler and acts like he's not.
I don't act like a father towards the child at all.
Yes, he does.
Why do you think he's denying?
He's denying for Tyler. She manipulates him to make him feel guilty for staying around me and my son all the time and not being around her and her daughter.
You say when Ms. Stallworth is not around, he's a good dad to Jeremiah.
Yes.
He's there.
Yes.
He treats him like it's his child.
Yes.
Explain.
Well, when he doesn't watch him, however, if he's crying, he'll go to him, pick him up, make sure he doesn't fall off the bed. He'll give him his bottle. When I make his bottle, he'll give it to him, make sure he's drinking his bottle. He'll make sure he put him to sleep.
Well, with all due respect, Your Honor, I don't think anyone would just let a child fall off the bed.
He's the one that stands up by the crib and pats his back the whole time until he falls asleep.
Do you spend quality time with Jeremiah like that, Mr.
No
Hadley?
quality time. But, you know, if Ms. Thomas is busy doing something, I'll pat the back of the child to get the child to, you know, stop yelling. But
There's times when I'm laying in the bed and he's patting his back.
So, Ms. Thomas, you submitted a photo to the court.
Yes.
That's Mr. Hadley with Jeremiah?
Yes.
Oh, it's a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
And that's you, right, Mr.?
Yeah, but I didn't fall asleep like that.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yes, he did, Your Honor. He was holding him. He's gonna wake up and not let me
So
take a picture.
what are you saying? She placed the baby there
That's a
exactly
lie.
and
what
took
I'm
the
saying.
picture?
No, Your Honor.
First, what I want to know is the relationship. Talk to me about the nature of this relationship.
I was friends with Mrs. Thomas before, you know, me and...
But was it friends with benefits? Was it friends and you were having sex as
Yes,
well?
Your Honor.
It didn't
Let's
lead-
be clear in court.
It didn't lead to sex until way later on.
But you did have a sexual relationship with her.
Yeah.
Did you use protection when you had sex?
The first time.
Only 2 times. Out of all of them, twice.
Take me to this pregnancy. You tell Mr. Hadley you're pregnant
Yes.
when you find out. What do you say?
I told him I was pregnant. I even sent him a picture of the pregnancy test as well. He asked me if I was keeping it, and I said yes. That was the end of it. The next day is when he started doubting it. The same day I told him was the day he told Mrs. Stallworth, and she was all upset about it.
And so when you have the baby, do you tell him? Does he come to the hospital?
He was there the whole time. He got picked up. He stayed for the whole 15-hour labor. He was there the whole time, coached me through my contractions, telling me I need to breathe, everything. There's a picture of me and him. He stayed there the nurse of the day.
Mr. Hadley, you're there
Well,
for the birth.
honestly, to be honest, I felt a little pressured.
He wasn't
to,
pressured.
You know,
No one told him to come.
I felt pressured. Overall, I felt pressured.
How did you feel pressure? Who was putting pressure on you?
Well, number one, her family member brought me to the hospital.
So you got her, someone picked you up and brought you to the hospital?
Yeah.
All right, and you said, okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you know, out of respect, you know, everything. I'm going. So while I'm there, they're about to name the child, and she says the child's last name is gonna be Hadley. So, you know, she's Jamaican, and her whole family's Jamaican. So it's a whole bunch of Jamaicans in the room, and they're like, oh, is the child's last name gonna be Hadley? And I'm not finna just
They didn't say that.
disrespect.
He left the room, came back, and I asked him myself, and he said, go ahead and name him Hadley.
You said, go ahead and give the child my last name.
No.
Yes, he
So
did.
you didn't consent to Jeremiah having the last name Hadley?
I just didn't disagree due to the fact that her whole family was in the room.
Why are you so convinced he is your child's biological father, Ms. Thomas?
Because around the time where we had sex and the time my doctor told me that I conceived my son.
Do you have any evidence to support that?
Yes, I have my calendar right here.
Jerome, will you hand me this calendar?
I had sex on the 19th around 12 to 2 a.m. The doctor told me I conceived my son around the 22nd, which does put it in the frame for where I would be pregnant.
So you had sex with Mr. Hadley on the 19th of April?
Yes.
And your doctor told you your conception date was the 22nd?
Yes.
So you believe from that calculation that he is your child's biological father?
Yes.
Mr. Hadley, you were intimate with her on the 19th?
Yes.
Okay. Without protection?
Yes. But that week of conception, I wasn't the only guy she had sex with.
However, the time of conception, the date I had sex with the other guy was Saturday the 26th of April.
Oh, so okay, wait. Hold on. You're saying, Mr. Hadley, you know for certain that she was intimate with someone else, and Ms. Thomas, you are confirming his assertion?
Yes.
So 22nd of April is when the doctor says you conceived. So this is your conception. And this is Mr. Hadley. And when did you have sex with this other guy?
I had sex with the other guy on the 26th. However, we also used a condom.
Come on, man.
We used a condom.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, Mr. Hadley, how are you so convinced you aren't when you admittedly slept with her on the 19th, even if this other guy did not protect himself on the 26th? You understand that you're still within the window of conception.
Well, we also had a home DNA test done, and the results were inconclusive.
You did?
Yes.
So you did a home test?
Yes.
And the results you got back were inconclusive?
Yes.
So are you basing a conclusion off of something that's inconclusive?
Well, yes. Yes.
Okay. Did you bring any evidence of that test?
No, I did not.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
The test was inconclusive?
Yes. Anything can mess up an at-home DNA test. You have to be practically perfect.
So you really don't have an answer at all?
No. The test can easily be messed up.
You know what? I want to hear from your witness. Please stand, ma'am. I'd like to hear from you. Ms. Stallworth, am I correct?
Yes, Your
Thank you
Honor.
for joining us.
You're welcome.
So, Ms. Stallworth, are you in agreement with Mr. Hadley that this is not his biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
And why do you believe that to be so?
Because she was sleeping with somebody else around the same time, and
I
the test
slept
that
with
came
once.
back inconclusive.
And you two are in a relationship, Mr. Hadley and yourself, you all are in a relationship now?
No, we're gearing towards a relationship, but this is
There's no gearing
causing
towards a relationship when he's
problem.
staying with me. He lives with me. This is the longest since I moved.
No.
He's
No.
been with her for 2 weeks. That's it. He's
Wait a
been
minute,
with-
you live with Miss
He
Thomas?
lives
No,
with me.
he does not.
He
No,
lives
I've-
with me. He lives
I've
with
stayed
me.
over her house,
He lives with me.
but
Lives.
I don't.
He
I
has
don't
his
live
clothes
with-
at my
with-
house.
with-
So hold on. Your things are with Miss Thomas. They're at her house. Mr.
some of
Hadley.
them, yes.
Some
Most
of them.
them.
Yes.
Where do you live?
With her.
No, he doesn't.
Now you live with Miss Stallworth.
No.
But your clothes are at Miss Thomas's.
He
Yes.
lives with me.
Who are you intimate with right now?
Miss Stallworth.
Miss Stallworth.
It's
Yeah.
a back and forth. It's been like that for 2 years.
So, Miss Thomas, when's the last time you were intimate with Mr. Hadley?
A couple weeks ago.
That's
It's
a lie.
not that long ago.
That is a lie.
You're laughing, Miss Stallworth?
because this.
She
is
doesn't know. She's
ridiculous.
not there. She
I'm
doesn't live
sorry.
with me.
I can't say if it's true or not, but from what I'm getting from him, it's not.
It's not true.
It's not
He
like
lies.
I never even meant for it to even go this far with Mrs. Thomas.
But
I always
you were
went-
at fault too because you were.
You're
intimate
at my
with her.
house every day, minus these last 2 weeks.
So, Miss Stallworth, will you continue to pursue a relationship with Mr. Hadley if, in fact, it's determined that he is Miss Thomas's son's biological father?
No, Your Honor.
You won't.
I won't. No.
That's a lie.
So basically, your whole this relationship you're working towards is on the line. Because if he's the father of her child, you don't want to be in a relationship with him.
Yeah, if Mr. Hadley is the father of Miss Thomas's baby, me and Mr. Hadley would just co-parent with our daughter and nothing further.
He's been trying to.
So you two have a child as well?
Yes, we do. We have a baby girl.
How old is your child?
She'll be 2 in November.
And Jeremiah is 7 months. So this has been a love triangle that's been going on for a while.
Yes.
A long
And you just go back and forth, Mr. Hadley, depending on whose house you stay in.
Yes.
Well, it was like whenever she would get mad at me a lot of times and she'll kick me out for no reason.
He's
So-
I
Oh.
had
there.
plenty of reason.
There's-
Miss Thomas was the reason.
There's so many times where he's texting me saying he doesn't want to be there. The only reason why he's there is because she keeps using, oh, you want to be around Miss Thomas and her son more than you want to be around your daughter. So he's up there for these 2 weeks for a guilt trip.
So,
When they
Mr.
were
Hadley,
little.
do you admit you just been going back and forth between these two women all this time?
I have.
So why are you standing there with a smirk on your face like you can't possibly be this child's father when you over there living in the house with your clothes over there and you say you're going back and forth?
I have strong evidence. I have strong beliefs. I know.
You have strong evidence and strong beliefs. Where is it? I haven't gotten any of it.
Well,
I mean, I have
An inconclusive DNA test doesn't tell me anything.
and I wasn't the first guy she told she was pregnant when she first got pregnant. We're gonna get that out there.
Well, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah, the first guy, the guy that she was messing with, or a different guy, who knows there's probably more than one guy.
never told anybody
She told
else
them
that I was having
I wasn't
their
the first
baby.
guy she told she was pregnant. She told the first guy first. I guess he didn't say anything or blocked her.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
and
you're,
I even
you're
reached out to
feeling
the
like
guy.
it's like a process of elimination, and since the other guy didn't want anything to do with her, she's putting it on
Yeah.
you.
I did not tell anyone else first before telling him. When I took my test is when I told him first. I didn't tell anyone else first.
No.
And
He
what is
looked
that you're
just like-
holding?
I have a
Real.
picture of Mr. Hadley when he was a baby and my son.
Let me see that evidence, please. Thank you, Jerome. Okay, what are these pictures of?
That's
This
my
is Miss-
son Jeremiah and Mr. Hadley as a baby.
Jeremiah on the left, Mr. Hadley as a baby on the right. You say you see a resemblance.
Yes.
How about you, Mr. Hadley?
I don't see it.
The nose kind of does look like. I give it that.
The eyes.
So, what is his relationship like with Jeremiah? He recognizes him and is excited to see.
Yes.
Mr.
He doesn't even have to say anything for Jeremiah to smile at him.
He smiles at everybody.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Miss Thomas, if he's in fact determined to be your child's biological father, do you want to be in a relationship with Mr. Hadley? Do you want him to stay put, stay in your home and be with you and your child?
I don't want him to be going back and forth. He can be around his daughter, but however, this back and forth, I don't trust
Okay,
him.
well, okay, what about no back and forth, but he wants to be with Miss Stallworth? Are you okay with that?
Yes, he just has to take responsibility of my son.
Okay, so you don't want to be in a relationship with him necessarily.
I could really care less about being in a relationship at this point. It's been going on for too long, and I really don't trust that he won't be back and forth.
So you think pretty much as long as you two women allow it, he will just continue to go back and forth.
Yes, pretty much.
I can agree with that assertion. Mr. Hadley, when you say you can't possibly be this child's father, but you admit to having sex without using protection, you understand why Miss Thomas has reason to believe you potentially could be her child's father, right?
Yes, I understand, there's a possibility, but I'm fully convinced myself that there's no way.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome, I'm ready. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Thomas versus Hadley, as it pertains to 7-month-old Jeremiah Hadley, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Hadley, you are not his father.
Oh my God.
I feel, now we can move forward now, and she can stop, she letting.
No, you gotta stop.
Yes, he has to stop.
And listen,
Yeah, you do.
you all have a part to play in this. But before you start getting on your high horse, Mr. Hadley, let's be clear. You've gotta stop. Because you're going back and forth between these two women, and they're letting you. That's a whole other conversation. If you keep going the way you're doing, at this rate, you'll just be back up here again next year. She'll be pregnant again. Miss Stallworth be standing right here next to you talking about, I'm not gonna stay if he is. So, Miss Thomas, ultimately, It's time for you to stop focusing on Mr. Hadley and Miss Stallworth. You gotta focus on Jeremiah. There's a man that you say you know is his biological father, but he doesn't want anything to do with him. You need to approach that person again.
Yes.
And make it clear that you've had DNA testing for the other potential father, and try to get a test with him as well. Okay. For your son, because he deserves to know who his father is. Ms. Smethers, you have dragged the defendant to court because you are devastated that he refuses to accept that he is your son Adrian's biological father. You claim today's DNA test results will have a dramatic impact on your future as a family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stevens, you say that one look at you and the baby is all the proof anyone needs to see that you are not the father. And if that's not enough, you claim the plaintiff slept with another man right before she told you she's pregnant. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Smethers, what upsets you most about the situation you find yourself and your child in today?
Well, Your Honor, me and Mr. Stevens met when I was 16 years old. We went to GED classes together. We eventually started dating. I moved in with him, and we had our first daughter. After that, it went from good to bad. Mr. Stevens started cheating on me. I was always at home with the baby. You know, he was always out with girls.
But like, I only cheated on her because, like, for example, like I would go through her phone and like she would have messages erased and messages that didn't make sense. On her social medias, she would have, you know, like you can just type in a letter or you can go to the recent search and it would tell you all who you searched up on that phone. And like, so I would see her exes on there. So like, I didn't trust her.
And so this happy relationship,
It changed it went from being happy to everybody having trust issues.
all right. What happens? I mean, you cheating wouldn't land you in paternity court, necessarily, not with this woman at least.
He cheated on me for the first 5 years of our relationship. I did not step out of the relationship until right before our son was conceived.
She wants to say, like, I cheated on her for the 5 years, but, like, there'd be times when I'd text her and ask her, like, hey, where you at? Well, she's supposed to be at home, but yet she's in a different state. She was in a different state. She was not at home. She was not at home.
No,
she was in Indiana.
I was at home. No, I wasn't.
Take me to the pregnancy. Ms. Smethers, you find out you're pregnant, you tell Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
What was his response?
He was happy.
You were?
Yeah, at first, yeah, I was happy. And then, like, and then the aspect is like, you know, she was pregnant, but she waited 5 months to tell me that there was a possibility that he wasn't.
Oh, so initially when you found out she was pregnant, you didn't have any
I was
issue.
excited, like, cause you know, like I found out that it was a boy, so like, you know, it was my first boy. I was excited about that. You know, like I wanted a first child, like as a boy. That's my 2 daughters were supposed to be, but it ended up being, you know.
Your 2 daughters were supposed to be girls.
Yeah,
I hate
like,
to break it to you.
Well, like, you know.
And
like
there's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
And so at 5 months, she pops up and tells you, I cheated and this may not be your child?
One of my family members and a couple of our mutual friends that we had together, they ended up coming out and telling me that she opened up to them and told them that AJ might not be mine and that she cheated on me. And
I did open up and say that I was with another man, but I never said that AJ was not his.
Even though you didn't say it, could it be true?
No.
Yeah.
It was, my conception date was between October 7th and the 11th, or the 12th. My birthday was the 11th. We had a hotel party and he was conceived that night. I was with the other guy.
This is the thing though, like she said that, like, yeah, like we did it on her birthday, but we had a little bit kind of did it before her birthday. We had talked about getting back together and we ended up meeting somewhere and that was the first time it happened. And then about a week and a half goes by and then it was her birthday.
So, Ms. Smethers, you're saying you conceived on your birthday.
Yes.
Were you with Mr. Stevens around that time or only that time?
No, we were together. We were together for, we had been back together for about 2 or 3 months because the other guy that I slept with was 3 months prior to me getting pregnant.
With her and the other guy, it was more than one time. And then on top of that, it was at my mom's house, in our bedroom.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And at my parents' house, and like I begged for them.
I admit what I did
honestly,
was
this what
wrong.
happened.
No, that is beyond wrong.
My brother, he ended up coming down from Ohio. So like I ended up venturing off to help him try to get his life back on track. And in the process of me trying to help him do that, that happened on me. So like,
So
yeah,
Ms. Smethers, how do you end up with another guy? How do you end up you knew him already?
I knew him already. I basically just got tired of Josh's cheating for the first 5 years of our relationship. We took a little break, I guess you could call it. And he had someone else that he was messing with, so I messed with someone else too.
And so you knew this person, you all started dating, or you just started sleeping together?
We were just sleeping.
yeah, she was just sleeping with him apparently.
Okay. And so you say this happened 3 months before you and Mr. Stevens got back together.
Yes.
And that was also 3 months before Adrian was conceived?
Yep.
But you don't believe that, Mr. Stevens?
Not one bit.
Why do you believe this other man is Adrian's biological father?
Because I don't see my side of the feature in him when it comes to it. Like he's the lightest one.
Okay, well, you know babies come in all different skin colors. You cannot
Yeah.
judge a baby by what color they come
Yeah,
out,
but
or
that's his
even
ma-
what
that's one
color
of
they
his main
are. You
points.
can't judge that.
I know, that's one of his main points. That's what I'm trying to get through his head. Just because he has lighter skin doesn't mean he's not his.
How many children do you have?
3.
And Adrian is the baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
When you look at Adrian, you see the other guy.
A little bit, yes, ma'am.
So what is Mr. Stevens' relationship like with Adrian?
He's a good dad to him. He takes him, you know, when he takes the other two. He's always acted like a father figure to him. He's just had his doubts. He always comes out and says, like, he's too white, he can't be my baby, but, I mean, he still stepped up and took the father role.
You know, like, that would be wrong for me, though, like, to have my 2 kids and still be able to doubt that he's not mine and treat him different. Like, that would be unfair. And, like, you know, like, my stepdad, he didn't really have to raise me, but he did. So, I don't know, like, no one should have their back turned on him, so.
So you feel like, absolutely, Mr. Stevens, that is commendable of you, because we don't often see that in this courtroom. Sometimes we see just the opposite. A potential father has doubts. He doesn't want to get close to a child. He doesn't want to form a bond. So I appreciate that you decided to step up to the plate for Adrian. So even though you're there 22 months, the past 22 months, you're there, you try to treat Adrian just like the other children.
Yes, ma'am.
But when you're with him, are you constantly looking at him and comparing features? And are you having constant reminders that you don't?
A lot of the times, but I try not to because it messes with me. That gives me more doubt, and like I just don't want that. Like, I want me and him to have a bond. Like, I want us to be able to go fishing. I want us to be able to go hunting and do stuff together.
And that upsets you.
Yes, ma'am.
I see your eyes, they're watering. When you look, it's like you're trying not to see, but you just feel like you can see this other man.
Yeah, like, I don't see myself when I look at him.
I can tell it hurts. So for 22 months, you've been looking in this child's face, trying to see some resemblance,
part of me,
something
some part
of you.
of my family.
So every time you go pick him up, every time you're with him, you see the other guy, but you just try to block it out.
Yes, ma'am. I try.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, ma'am.
And why did you not sign the birth certificate?
Because I had doubts that AJ wasn't mine then.
So even then,
Because,
at
like-
his birth,
Yes, ma'am. I don't know, like, I love her, so I want to give her the
That's
benefit
not
of
what
the
he
doubt.
told me.
So,
The social worker had to be there to be the notary. Every time the notary came in, he was at work. But he was constantly telling me when we were in the hospital that he was gonna sign it.
so were you making up excuses, Mr. Stevens, to avoid executing the birth certificate?
no, ma'am. I wanted to, but I just can't. I've been there for him through everything. I held him when he was born. I kissed him on his forehead, and I told him I wasn't ever gonna go nowhere.
It's like the doubt is just haunting you.
Yes, ma'am. He just don't really look like me. She's like, Miss Smethers tries to say, like, you know, he's got my nose and everything like that, but I don't know, like, I don't see myself having a flat, round nose. Like, I see myself having a long, pointed nose, kind of.
So you're going feature by feature, just trying to see some resemblance to yourself and your
The
family.
ears, everything.
No, I mean, it's not even funny. It'll drive you crazy. It really will. 22 months of this, every day. Miss Smethers, your friend, Miss Craig, is in court today. She's a witness that I'd like to hear from. Jerome, will you please escort Miss Craig into the courtroom?
Yes. Ma'am.
Miss Craig, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Miss Craig, how do you know Miss Smethers?
I've known Miss Smithers for about 10 years. We've always been really close friends.
So, you know we are here discussing the paternity of baby Adrian.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you know about this paternity issue?
I know that Mr. Stevens has had doubts about Adrian belonging to him.
What has Miss Smethers told you about the situation?
She has said that she had doubts.
She told you she had doubts.
That's not true.
Well, why would she sit up here and lie? She's your friend.
I have no idea why she's lying, but that's not true.
What did she tell you, Miss Craig? This is why we're here, to get the truth. What did she say?
I mean, she had expressed to me, we had a conversation, that she had some doubts that Josh was the biological father.
Miss Smethers, you're saying you don't remember this conversation?
No, I do not.
Why do you believe she would come all the way to court as your friend and just make this up?
I honestly have no idea. But I have never doubted Adrian being Mr. Stevens. There's no way.
When you hear Miss Craig testify, Mr. Stevens,
Yes, ma'am.
that basically validates the doubt you've been having?
Yeah, because like at the same time, like this is her best friend. So like, yeah, she confines her secrets into people that she trusts. And with AJ, he's just the ugly duckling of the family, I guess that would be like something like that. Like, you know
Who
what I'm saying?
said what?
You know what I'm saying? Like the rest, all of them match, and then like there's this one that doesn't match.
Oh, you're saying like that Sesame Street thing, which one doesn't belong?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying all the features line up in all the other children.
Yes.
And then he looks at, because there's nothing ugly about that baby.
I know. Like,
Okay,
that
let's just make that
just a
clear.
comparison. Like, you know.
So now, where are you all in your relationship right now?
Like, as in today, like, if AJ's not mine, like, you know, there is no working nothing out ever. Like, if AJ, like, dude, like, no, like, that what you did was low. And then for me to have to wait 5 months and then
What
I
you
didn't
did
find
was
out
low.
from you, I found out from somebody else. Like, yeah, like, there
You
is
didn't find
no...
out from somebody else. I admitted to it. Somebody
I-
just told
She-
you.
okay.
I gave you.
Like you just said, you admitted to it after I questioned you about it because someone else told me.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
admitted to it.
So you didn't tell me, somebody
I'd like
else
to
told
point-
me. So I had to confront you.
I'm more concerned about this relationship that she had, that she says was 90 days before you all got back together. If her timeline is off in any way, then, and she's expressed doubts to her best friend, that should be your point of proof. That's doubt. There's no reason for her friend to come into this courtroom, best friend for 10 years, but she has to tell the truth, so she told the truth. Miss Smethers, do you want this relationship to last, to work with Mr. Stevens?
I would like it to work out. That's why I'm here to prove that he is AJ's father.
Because you want to keep your family together.
Yes.
And if for some reason he is not his biological father, have you thought through that?
I really haven't, because I have no doubt that he's his father.
Does the other guy know that Adrian is born, that he's here? Does he have any feelings about whether or not Adrian is his biological child?
We're from a small little town, and everybody knows everybody's business. He actually went around town, from what I heard, saying that he was his, and then when I confronted him about it, he was like, no, I didn't say that. And he completely denies that he said it now.
That's odd. Yes, it is. But you know what? We've got the results, so we can get down to the bottom of this right now. Jerome, the envelope, please. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Smethers versus Stevens, when it comes to 22-month-old Adrian James Stevens, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Stevens, you are the father. I was happy to deliver those results to you.
Thank you.
I can see this means a lot to you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling in this moment to know you do have your son?
Right now I'm happy.
Good.
Like,
Listen, every day I'm in this courtroom, I hear something about he cheated, so I went out and did this. And now the story never ends well. It just doesn't. Revenge, cheating leads to regret. It's just that simple. It always leads to that. If you're gonna have a relationship, you have to focus on how to have a healthy relationship. Cheating does not make a healthy relationship. It just doesn't.